Hello and welcome to a new episode of the Road Ahead, a Road Excess podcast. My name's Freddie, and today we're diving into a topic that affects just about everyone who drives: fuel prices. If you've been feeling the pinch at the pump lately, you're not alone. Prices often fluctuate, and today we'll explore why this is happening. So buckle up, as today we'll break down the reasons behind the rise and fall of fuel costs. To begin, let's talk about the global factors that can drive up fuel prices. One of the biggest influences is the price of crude oil, which is the primary ingredient in petrol. When the price of crude oil goes up, so does the price of petrol. Recently, there have been several factors causing crude oil prices to soar. One major factor is geopolitical tension. For example, conflicts in oil-rich regions and the Ukraine war can lead to disruptions in the supply chain, making crude oil more expensive. Also, decisions made by OPEC, that's the organization of the petroleum exporting countries, to cut or increase oil production can have a significant impact on global oil prices. In essence, when supply is limited, prices will naturally go up. This has become a huge problem in recent years, especially with the impact from the COVID-19 pandemic and supply chains. Disruptions in the supply chain can cause delays in the delivery of crude oil to refineries, which then slows down production of fuel. Transportation issues like the shortage of tanker drivers or problems at shipping ports also contribute to higher costs. When it takes longer or becomes more complicated to get crude oil where it needs to go, those additional costs are passed down to consumers, that's you and me, in the form of higher fuel prices. Another key element that contributes to high petrol prices is government taxes and environmental policies. In many countries, including the UK, taxes make up a significant portion of the price you pay at the pump. These taxes are used to fund various government programs, including infrastructure projects and environmental initiatives. Even green policies are affecting petrol prices. Governments around the world are pushing for cleaner energy sources to combat climate change, which is a good thing, but it can also mean higher costs for traditional fossil fuels like petrol. For instance, even carbon taxes and stricter regulations on emissions can all increase the cost of producing and selling petrol.
If you're enjoying the Road Ahead podcast, why not join our community and continue the conversation at www.roadexcess.com/community. Now, let's get back to the podcast.
So what does the future hold for fuel prices? It's a bit of a mixed bag, really. On the one hand, as we move towards more sustainable energy solutions, there might be less demand for petrol, which could eventually bring prices down. However, in the short term, as the world continues to deal with geopolitical tensions, we might continue to see high prices at the pump, or at least see prices fluctuate. It's also worth considering that the transition to electric vehicles and renewable energy sources will take time. It's likely that during this transition period, which could be many years, petrol prices could remain volatile, fluctuating with changes in supply, demand, and government policies. Fuel prices are ultimately influenced by a complex mix of factors, from global politics and supply chain issues to taxes and environmental policies. This might mean that for the foreseeable future, when planning transport budgets, you should keep higher fuel costs in mind and utilize technology solutions to optimize your routes and reduce fuel costs. Keeping informed on world events will remain as important as ever. While we might not have control over these factors, understanding them can help us make better decisions, and as transport operators, force us to plan ahead as to what might happen based on the current events happening around us. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode of The Road Ahead. If you found this podcast episode helpful, be sure to subscribe to our podcast for more insights into the issues that matter to you. So until next time, take care.